I'll watch this. This was an interview IGN posted yesterday, and it was with an interview with Holly Longdale and John Haidt. These are two of the main people with WoW. And so we're going to watch this. MCU style? Well, of course that's like, I mean, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I mean, it's so good that, have you guys seen all the posts recently of them talking about how they're going to bring it back? They're going to bring back everybody from Endgame. I was a very big Marvel movies enjoyer leading up to Endgame. I have not watched a single movie after that, but I actually have liked a lot of the movies. I think a few of them are actually genuinely amazing movies. I really like them. So yes. And also, like, even if you disagree, you have to acknowledge that it was extremely popular. And because it was extremely popular, everybody is trying to do the same type of thing.
What's up, everybody? This is Matt Kim from IGN, and we're here at BlizzCon 23 with Holly Longdale and John Haidt from the Warcraft team. Hello.
Hello.
Good show so far?
Absolutely, yeah.
I like going in with a nice, friendly hello. You know,
it works.
Yeah,
and we answered in unison. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's fun. We have fun here. But let's just dive right into it. IGN readers are super excited that we got not one, not two, but 3 World of Warcraft expansion announced all at once. Yeah. I'd love to learn more about the process of just being like, you know what, let's do it. Let's announce 3 expansions.
Honestly, when Chris Metzen came and returned to us and we started that process, this bubbling up of this passion around the 20th anniversary is almost upon us. It's time to change the conversation, make some big bets. Let's take World of Warcraft in a direction that we may not have imagined in the past. And you throw something like that at someone like Chris Metzen and the team, and he came back to both of us with this idea that, you know, I mean, you've seen Chris Metzen. When he starts sharing an idea, and I'm an idea fairy. I love big ideas, so does John. And there was just no way to not get behind this idea that it's an incredible epic story, and we wouldn't be doing it justice if we tried to do it in one expansion. And then we were talking about 2
Well, I think that's true. I mean, obviously, like, having expansion-wide narratives. I feel like also another big influence for this was obviously Final Fantasy. I mean, Final Fantasy had, like, this same overarching saga of the expansion, and it worked really well. And even you look at Lost Ark, for example. Like, Lost Ark, what are you doing? You're killing the Legion commanders, and then you're going to kill Kazaros. Like, there is a narrative that exists in the game that you're building towards, and it's been going on for a long period of time. And I think it's becoming more popular as, these, like, IPs get bigger and bigger.
Expansions, and we're like, yeah, it's still... There's a lot more room to grow this tale, and that's how it became 3. And it did start from this essence of, we want everyone to be able to enjoy World of Warcraft and really take us on a journey. And part of that too is, you know, when we say multiple expansions, the other factor in this is we want to do them faster so that you will get this incredible tale in a way you would expect from World of Warcraft with everything you expect.
So they are going to release the expansions more quickly. Maybe that's why they haven't had more raid tiers. I think having 3 raid tiers in an expansion is totally fine. By the way, I don't have any problem with that at all. So yeah, there's going to be 3 in 2 years. It's more money. I mean, I think it makes sense that they're going to try to make more money, especially because the main reason and the main way they make money is through subs, and they haven't increased the sub fee in like 15 years, right? So it makes sense that they're going to try to find other ways to make money to make that up. Because think about the prices of everything else. It's all gone up, and this hasn't. I mean, come on. Makes not sense for them, not me. Well, I don't know. I think I think at a certain point, I don't really think it would matter if the game was good. I think people would happily buy the expansions if the game was good.
In an expansion, but we want to get you there with these epic moments faster. And, you know, we have some of the inside scoop. What is coming is just It's incredible, and the team is just rallied around it. It's really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it naturally, the story really expressed itself best in 3 parts. I mean, you know, the team had already been planning on, we want to go into the center of Azeroth. We want to go under the ground, which at first we got like underground,
We also can keep in mind, like, I'm sure they thought of Legion. And, like, Legion was very successful in part because it was a 15-year story. Like, Legion was, like, everybody knew about the Burning Legion. Everybody knew about Illidan. A lot of people knew about Sargeras and, like, you know, Archimonde and Kil'jaeden. So the truth is, like, WoD kind of led into Legion. So they've kind of already done this in other expansions.
you know, I don't know if we want to do, you know, that much time just digging in tunnels. And they're like, no, this is going to be expansive. We're going to have these huge caverns. And you know, we actually play around with it in Dragonflight, you know, just showing you can fly in a cave, you know. So, of course, we can do big things inside the center of the Earth, or center of Azeroth. And I think that part was already kind of in place. And Chris looked at it, it's like, okay, this is cool. We'll start from there. And then as we explore that, we uncover the machinations of Xel'lotath, you know, and that kind of naturally led to the battle with the Void. Well, we're best to have conflict with the Void than the Sunwell, so that kind of moved naturally to the next chapter. And then finally, the thing that I think we've all been wondering about for the last 20 years is all the stuff, as Chris said, that the Titans have left behind, you know, the weird artifacts, the mysterious voices, the apparitions that appear. And this is the culmination of that, you know, pulling those threads together and explaining a lot of what this has all been about.
Yeah, I think that, again, it's like with a cosmology chart like they had, I'm also very much of the mind that, you know, the cosmology chart is like the Silmarillion, and vanilla WoW is like Lord of the Rings. And once, like, the scale of a story becomes so large, I think people lose context of it. And they lose the ability to appreciate and the ability to relate to it. It's like, again, going back to Marvel, I think it's why Celestials wasn't that good. A lot of people didn't like Celestials. I can tell you why. It's because these massive planet-sized people are hard to fucking relate to. It's why they can't... sorry, the Eternals. Eternals, not Celestials. There it is.
Chris was up on stage and he announced the big reveal about the 3 expansions and the World Soul Saga. I got strong Kevin Feige at Comic-Con vibe when he reveals a new phase of the MCU. Do you think that's an apt comparison where he reveals just Captain?
We actually did kind of talk about it as reference, because for us it was, we felt we needed to really establish with our players, like, yes, we're serious about this story. We have a plan for this story, and we are committed to it. But one thing I want to say, and it's important for everyone to know, that you can jump in. You don't have to start with War Within. If you, for whatever reason, you somehow miss it next year, please don't. But if you do, you can jump in, you know, with Midnight, or you can even come in at the end and with The Last Titan. We're telling these as...
Sure, I mean, like, I think that's the case with Final Fantasy. Same thing there, 100%. I feel like what I just hope is that after this trilogy is over, they're able to do, like, some sort of, like, story reset on the game and, like, kind of scale the game down a lot.
Distinct pieces, but they all tie together in this overarching story. And we wanted players to know, you know, we're committed. We're going to do this thing, and we'd like for them to join us on this journey.
And beneath that, you know, when we talk about the 20th anniversary, this idea of, you know, John mentioned threads. Part of that is that we've continually moved forward. There's a lot of stories that we get to wrap up and places we get to visit and characters we get to visit with the 20th anniversary. With a tale like this team has never...
I don't think that everything needs to be wrapped up, and I think that some things deserve not to be wrapped up. I think if you go back to Lord of the Rings, and also you can look at, you know, Game of Thrones. I think one of the reasons why the mysticism of Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones is compelling is because it's not fully explained. Like, who is the Lord of Light? What is this? Is this real? Is it fake? How real is it? How fake is it? Who knows? It's the mystery of it is what makes it compelling. Like the mystery of something of like, I think, again, the two best examples in Lord of the Rings are Ungoliant and Tom Bombadil. You don't even know where they're from. It's never explained where they're from. They're just these massively powerful things. And in a way, explaining them takes away from the excitement. Because it's like, you know where like somebody does a face reveal and like they only look attractive and they're not like the way that you wanted them to look in their head, and it's always a downgrade? I think that's what happens. I think Dream's a great example. VTubers it happens with as well. There you go.
Never planned anything this far in advance,
so
it's bringing a lot of detail.
It's okay to not finish stories.
A lot of incredible passion into how we deliver on this 20 years of World of Warcraft and really paying homage to our past and creating a new beginning. And it's just, the team is like effervescent at this point, you know, because we know where we're going for a good period of time, and to be able to lean into it and create the threads between, to your point, when we talk about something like, you know, the MCU, you can see all the threads between them. And that's, in essence, you know, we'll be building quite a bit of that.
Here's a problem, though, with the MCU, is that this is what I've heard from a lot of people, is that people don't want to get invested into the MCU because they feel like they have to understand context from 20 different movies and 3 different series in order to appreciate the current videos or movies coming out. So I just really hope that they're aware of that problem whenever they're developing an expansion or content that's built around like the MCU.
That as well.
Right, and that is something I'm curious about how announcing 3 interconnected expansions like this impacts development for the team.
We've been evolving in order to serve the players in this way. So it's a journey that we're on. War Within has been in development for some time. We're also already working on the next one, on Midnight. And we've grown our team to support it. And not only that, we're building the foundation of how to work with 2.
By the way, just like a real quick thing. So like if you like, they need to make it to where like the feet move a little bit more with like the old mounts, because like it doesn't look natural with like the dragon riding for the old mounts, because they're not moving in a natural way as if they're flying. You see what I'm saying? Like watch it again. See how it's kind of like, it's just basically just being moved around. Now, I'm also assuming that, like, this is just going to be, yeah, flying pianos, yeah. It's like T-pose, yeah. And, like, the wings are nice, but they also have to make the feet move around, too, or it's not going to look realistic. And I understand, like, people might, oh, that's not a big deal. It's a massive fucking deal, because you're going to be looking at it every fucking second. It's huge. The dragon riding mounts are amazing. They're so good. So, just do more of that.
And the next one on Midnight. Things, yeah. And we've grown our team to support it. And not only that, we're building the foundation of how to work with 2 expansions being created at the same time. And at the same time, we also created a live team. And that live team is filling the world in our 8-week patch cadence with the content in between that is sort of the novelty and the whimsy and the lightness of WoW that the audiences that, you know, the expansion teams will continue to focus on. You know,
I'm okay with the lightness and the whimsical stuff sometimes, but let's get some other people that are like being executed by being held upside down in water torture as well, right? Like, let's have a little bit of fun here. Like, let's have like, you know, some torture quests. Let's have a quest where it's like, you know, some guy is like, I don't like bears, and so just go kill 50 bears. You're not trying to call them for the environment. You're not trying to help anybody. I just don't like bears. Just go kill them all. Just go kill all the bears. Why? Because I don't like bears. That's why. Yeah, it's that simple.
Or seasons, etc. and they're filling in our holidays and turbulent timeways. And
this is just my opinion, right? Again, I like the more, like, it's one of the reasons why I got really attached. I like the Cyberpunk story a lot, is because it had like the grit to it where I knew that they weren't going to pull punches. Like, if they were going to do something, they would do it.
More activities for players to do so that we're crossing all of the different ways people play. So we're building this foundation for how we can have this, basically a staggered approach. Although teams are going to be helping each other along the way, because there are moments where we can. The development on WoW is very fluid and it moves back and forth, but we have a lot of really incredible resources now focused on really advanced our production methodology as well. And so we're going through this learning phase.
I think this is true. I mean, the proof is in the pudding with this. Look at Dragonflight. Dragonflight is the first time that we've had a legitimate roadmap, and they've followed through on the roadmap. It's not like, oh, they're not doing it. They have been doing it. It's been happening.
Figuring out how to do all this at the same time, because we're absolutely committed to it.
I think even just planning 3 expansions gives us a North Star for the whole team. We know what's going to be in all of these. And, in doing that, we're able to do more things in parallel than we have in the past before some things necessarily had to happen sequentially. So, we've already begun concept development for, Midnight and Last Titan. We know what the look of some of these things are. We have a setting for all of them. We know what races we want to introduce there.
And I think this is a lot bigger deal than people are making out or are assuming, because think about how many systems, like, let's look at Warlords of Draenor. Garrisons are dead. Nobody cares about garrisons. Nobody cares about, what was the other feature that WoD had? Ashran. Nobody cares about Ashran. It's dead. I think there's one other thing that they did that's also dead. Those like weird talents and like those like talent perks and stuff. Then you go back and you look at BFA. Azerite gear is totally dead. Warfronts are totally dead. Corruptions are totally dead. Essences are totally dead. All of these things, like, think about like 4 PoE seasons. Like, think about, you take out Betrayal, you take out Bestiary, you take out Incursion, and you take out Heist. That's fucking huge, right? That would totally change the game. So think about how much more in-depth and better the game would be if it was being designed to be played as like a forward, like, cohesive whole, rather than you just playing these slices of an expansion. Like, I think this is a huge deal. Yeah, Shards of Domination. Torghast is dead. BFA Islands are dead. There's probably 50 of them that I'm not thinking of right now. What else am I thinking? That's scenarios. That's what, like, way back in the, class order halls, dead. Legion artifacts, dead. Horrific visions, dead. Expeditions. Expeditions. What do you mean expeditions? The missions. Yeah, dead. We get it. Yeah, we get it. Yeah, a lot of these things are just dead.
You know what heroes we want to bring in? We have heard
dead.
From our players that, man, bring back some of our favorite heroes. So it was.
Don't say anything.
I'm not gonna. Come on. They saw Thrall in the cinematic, and so they know Thrall's there.
Okay, never mind.
And we happen to have a voice actor that's available to do Thrall.
Right,
so that's good. Mitzi does Thrall.
It's Mitzi, yeah.
There's so many questions, and I'm sure you can't get into all of them, obviously, because of spoilers. But like, are these expansions expected to be shorter than normal expansions, or what's the deal there?
I mean,
I think they're probably going to be the length of Shadowlands or Dragonflight, but they're not going to be as long as BFA. I feel like BFA was longer, personally.
Since doing them faster, you would imagine that's part of it, but the content...
Keep in mind, guys, they've said they're going to bring out faster expansions since Burning Crusade.
will not be less. That's part of this journey we're going on where we have this live team. So we will have the expansion teams fully focused on expansion content that will come out in our patches. And we're staying committed to this 8-week cadence with our content. And then within that, because we're really focused on delivering what you expect in an expansion, that will continue. But between those expansions is where we're going to be looking to get pretty creative. We're not ready to talk about future features yet, but we're going to be doing some significant things in the future. So expansions at their foundation, it's always going to be landscape to explore and quests and raids and dungeons like you would expect. How we evolve this story and tell this tale in between is probably going to evolve. We're taking some risks. We're experimenting. And
I think they should do that. Like, if they want to try something stupid, they should do it. Try it out. See what happens. Just don't, like, the only thing is that the best way to try something out is by making it not mandatory. Like the Mage Tower, for example. Or remember back whenever they added Seething Shore as a brawl? And like they were like, hey, try out this BG. Do you like it? You do? Okay, now it's in the game.
We're planning for, some really cool features in the future too. So
Brawler's good.
I'm pretty sure players will be pretty pleased with what we come up with.
Yeah, I mean, our expansion releases in the past were very much predicated on how quickly we could get them done. And, over the course of, doing 20 years worth of expansions, we know pretty much how long it takes to do the brainstorming, how long it takes to do the world building, and then most importantly, how long it takes to be in public test, so that we can really tune it. And more things can happen in parallel. But what's different now is that because we have, great processes, we've got, a bigger team, we're able to put out content when our players want it, not just when we're ready to release it. So we can still hit that quality bar, but we can deliver.
I mean, this is again like my vibe, but like I'm curious for those of you guys that are playing Dragonflight now, how many of you feel like the content is coming out at a reasonable, good pace? A lot of people are positive. That's huge. Like, as somebody who played WoW for like long time, that's huge.
Deliver it as players, are ready to consume it. And the cool thing about being in an MMO is we get a lot of data. We know when players are, okay, they're done. They want something new to do here. Or, you know what, they're still in there having a good time. We don't need to put this out right now.
I know the many Blizzard teams, talk about how they work independent of one another, but it really did strike me, you announced 3 expansions. The Overwatch 2 team announced not just one hero, but the next 2 heroes. Diablo 4 teased their next expansion, even though the game's only been 6 months in. Is this as developers of live games, is this radical transparency just something that the company just saw together as the way forward?
2 heroes.
100%. Yeah, because at the end of the day, we exist because of the communities we have, and our fans are so dedicated, as you've probably seen here at BlizzCon. They just want information. They just want to know what we're doing and what's coming. And part of that was a bit of an experiment, like for us putting out the roadmap so far ahead. And players.
Yeah, I think she's definitely right about that. Because you look at people were unhappy about Diablo because they didn't do that, and people were really happy about WoW because they did.
Excited by it instead of waiting for the next drop, which we're experimenting, and it seems to be working as far as that goes. But I do think Blizzard overall, and certainly our team, we appreciate being more open.
As you've mentioned, the 20th anniversary of WoW is coming up. Just big milestone for Warcraft as a whole. Just in terms of the future of the Warcraft series, there's so many things now with streaming and theaters are back. Are we going to see Warcraft expand out into multimedia, into shows?
Oh, great question! Holy shit! Let's go. Where's the WoW anime of Arthas?
Movies again? It's been 2016 since the movie came out.
Yeah, don't
But it's a
ask
great
me,
movie,
ask this
right?
guy.
I mean, that was one of the big reasons that we've somewhat reorganized as, a Warcraft universe. So Holly's part of the leadership team for that. So not just overseeing WoW, that's her.
That's kind of big for him to say. I feel like that's kind of a big deal. Yeah, I mean, shit. So they're kind of confirming.
Her baby, but also contributes to some of the strategic decisions that we have around where do we want to go next. And we have a full green light process for Warcraft. We take, pitch ideas from across the team. We also have things that we'd like to do. Everything begins with somebody's passion around, I would like to go chase this, or I believe in this. And then we see, okay, how does that enhance Warcraft? How does that work for Warcraft? Does it make sense for us to make a game in this genre for players that play other Warcraft games? Like WoW. And we were, like you saw with Rumble. If you played Rumble, we were very sensitive to the fact that a lot of people that would be checking it out have experienced Warcraft through the RTS, through WoW, through.
Yeah, people probably not. A lot of people aren't going to like WoW Rumble just because it's a phone game. Oh yeah, Blizzard sent me a box of like Warcraft Rumble stuff. I need to open that up. I'll probably do that maybe tomorrow or something. I think them comparing and not even nodding to the MCU is a huge red flag, though, because that ship is already sinking. I don't think that's bad at all. I mean, the truth is, Marvel, the MCU is the gold standard. It is. Like, that ship printed money for over 10 years. It was. Yeah, it was. And that's the thing, right? It's like, I mean, nothing lasts forever. And the reason why it stopped being the gold standard is their fault. People still like the MCU. People want to see the stories. It's just that the movies aren't good.
Hearthstone, and that we're consistent with that universe. That's a big reason why, Chris is back. We wanted him to, be kind of the arbiter of this is in, this is out. Plus, he's the only person that can pronounce some of those names. But no, seriously, we are going to we start with games. We are going to expand beyond that. Our main purpose this year has been about, hey, let's get all this aligned.
I really hope that they don't try to do another movie. I hope just, guys, come on. Like Castlevania, Cyberpunk, like they did the Witcher series. Like, just make a fucking anime. Just make an anime like everybody else does Arcane, right? Just stop. Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't do something. Just do a fucking anime. Because that's what people like.
Everything that you just saw yesterday, this is the efforts of, starting in January, like how do we make all of this come together? How do we make this big moment? How do we signal to the world that, Warcraft is a universe, 240 million strong, and we're going to grow from there. And we are going to branch into other things. But first, we wanted to have people start seeing this as not just a single game, but really a plan for the future. And when I said 3 decades, I'm not kidding. We all see this as caretakers for this universe. This is, not only your childhood, my late teens, but it's going to be for your kids and maybe for my granddaughter. And I hope, and we're going to be telling the stories that, we're going to be reading kids at night, or they're going to be streaming at night while we're asleep. But this is going to be part of the culture, and it's our goal.
Oh, you want to do that? You got to update the fucking engine, man. Like, God, man, like, how you get 20 people together in an area? You can't even have a battle. You can't. I'm not even talking about a war in Warcraft. You can't have a battle in Warcraft. Like, bro, like, you get a few more expansions, you're not gonna be able to do a duel. They're gonna update this engine, man. Holy shit.
To have this extend beyond us, and we're going to hand the baton to the next group of innovators and super creative people working on platforms that haven't even been imagined yet doing Warcraft.
Right. Something that Aaron said on stage that struck out to me is, he said there's a new clarity of vision that he didn't have before. Is it fair to say that this is, a Blizzard reboot now, or in the process of one?
I think so. I think we have moved, at least for us, I think we've moved from being very product-centric, where we think of this game, to being very player-centric. It's like, what do our players want? What are the genres that are cool to them? What are the platforms that are cool to them? How do they want to interact with each other? Because we make social games. I mean, everything in WoW, we talk about this all the time, is how is this actually more social? Yeah, that's one of our platforms. Is this
you guys think about how is it more social? Well, like, I'm glad that they're doing the cross-realm guilds. I am. I'm very happy about that. But they just need to, they need to go back and they need to look at why Classic is better at building social infrastructure. They've got to look at it. Like, you can't just try to make it you're not going to get people to treat the game like a Discord server again, because whenever they did that, there wasn't any Discord. You've got to think of a new way to do it. And the reason why Classic incentivized, and there were a lot of people grouping and being social, you want to know the real reason? It's because it was fucking hard and punishing. Like, you would get a quest in Red Ridge Mountains, and you had to be, Lieutenant Fangor is 26 or 27? You're going into the zone at, level 19? Bro, he's gonna beat your ass. There's, a bunch of other mobs around him, too. It's a massive shit show. So... Yeah, 26 was Giga social age. I go, yeah, he's massive. So that's where they really need to see things. They need to look at what was successful back in the days of Classic and figure out how to make that happen again. And the truth is that in doing so, they will have to remove some conveniences and some things that are just kind of easier for players. They will have to make the game harder. They do. They have to make it harder. And there's no way that it can't happen. I just want manly characters. My husband can cosplay, turn up the heat. Yes, sure. You're saying that people are social by necessity. So now it isn't one, so they won't do it. Yes. So this is what I believe. I believe MMO players, if you took a sample of all MMO players and a sample of the general population, the percentage of people that will avoid or are... the proverbial introverted people, right? The people that are introverted want to keep to themselves. There will be more of them who play MMOs than people in the general population. The point that I'm making is that people who are MMO players are generally more introverted. They usually keep to themselves. And so you need to give them a fundamental external reason to be social, because they are not naturally social. They're like, oh, let's go out and just start making friends. Are there people like that play MMOs? I don't know. Out of 1 million people, is there one person that breaks the rule? Yeah, I bet there is. But I'm talking about the norm. And in Classic WoW, if you want to kill Hogger, you want to get your quest done, you can sit there and you can be antisocial and you can just not do it. You just grind. Or you suck it up and you invite somebody, and you kill Hogger. And I think getting people to take that step is a good thing. However, I understand that the developers are concerned. They are like, oh, we don't want to make people have to be social. Well, guess what? If you don't make people be social, they won't be social. Because that's why they're playing the video game in the first place. It's because real life didn't make them be social. So here they are in your world instead.
Feature make it more social, more fun to be together, or not. And that's how we distinguish ourselves.
Well, John, Holly, thank you so much for your time. And for everything else from BlizzCon 2023, keep it here on IGN.
That was a good interview. I'll link it to you guys. It was really good. Social work, it shouldn't be completely soloable. Well, it should be. So it's such a weird thing. Because World of Warcraft was massively popular because it was a game that you could play primarily solo. But I think also what it really did is that it just hit the middle of that spectrum. Like here, there were a lot of people who leveled to 60 without doing any groups or doing anything else like that. But what's happened over the years is that WoW Classic has gone from there to here. Now, in my opinion, I think that it should go back to at least here. Like, retail WoW should go back to at least here. Because it is just simply better for an MMO. And this is the problem with selling something like this, is the reasons why WoW Classic is more social are bad things for the player. It's bad that you have to find a group to kill Lieutenant Fangor, even though it's a normal mob. Most people probably have to make a group to do that. It's bad that you can't heal yourself at all as a warrior. You have like no sustainability at all. But that also makes it to where needing a priest is even more important. And that's really the difference, is that you want to have new cinematic on Wowhead. Yeah, I'll look at that in a minute. Is that you want to have a situation where people have to, you don't have to interact with other players, but if you do, there is a tremendous benefit. Like, a tremendous, massive benefit.